today. So hang in there if you like winning. I think you're going to like today's show. Let's kick it off, and let me tell you a little bit about Primex True Home Value. They're going to be here today, George Jenkins, and he has a brand new door for you valued at up to $1,500. You can win it. Just go to thv.com. Author Sarah Nichter is here. Sarah's going to tell her personal story about an eating disorder, and she'll talk about an unhealthy way to lose weight and the warning signs. The YMCA is here, and they're going to talk about a healthy way to lose weight. They have a big weight loss challenge going on, so you can keep your New Year's resolution and do it within your budget. Dr. Karam is here as well, and staying with that same sort of theme about weight loss and New Year's resolutions, he's going to help you keep your New Year's resolution. Dr. Karam, welcome. Dr. Eli, are you okay with Dr. Eli?
With you, sure, my friend.
We've kind of adopted that because it's just kind of catchy.
That's right.
So, you know, Dr. Eli, I like it. Yeah. All right. Well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Now, how are you going to handle this? A lot of people talk about New Year's resolutions and how to keep those. With your profession, being a licensed marriage and family therapist, what's your angle here with keeping New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, you know, let's talk a little bit about it. So it's January 16th, which we're only a couple years in a year, but already people are fretting that they've blown their resolution. So if you listen for the next couple of minutes, we can get back on track. Recent study from the University of Scranton, researcher John Norcross came up with the top 3 resolutions that Americans have, and they're no surprise, as we said earlier. Number 1 is weight loss. Number 2 is kind of getting organized. And number 3 is saving more money and spending less. So how does that work? How can a family therapist help you with that? Well, let's give you a couple tips on kind of setting or kind of resetting those goals, because it's not too late as we sit here in the middle of January. All right, number 1, you got to do it yourself. You cannot do it for somebody else, meaning don't, if your spouse says, you know, you need to lose some weight, or you know, you need to clean this up around the house or whatever, or quit smoking. You have to want to do it. If you're just doing it for someone else or to get a family member off your back, it's not going to work. It's going to fail pretty quickly. So do it for yourself, number 1. Number 2, you got to make it realistic, and it has to be something that is feasible. So if you want to say, on our theme, if you want to say you're going to lose 30 pounds in a month, I mean, probably not the healthiest ways, or crash diet. I mean, it's probably possible, but not realistic. So you want to make the goal realistic, and you want to include ways to measure the goal. And sometimes people, when it's not realistic, there's no way to track progress. So step 3 is break down the goal into a smaller, something that we can actually track. So I'll give you some examples of that. So obviously weight loss, rather than have one big goal, start small and build in activities that are going to promote that. So you break in the goal. If you're going to the gym 5 days a week, or if you're cutting this or that out of your diet, it's probably a better way to measure than just a number on the scale or a total.
True.
So you want to break it down.
So you're saying small bites.
Yeah.
Which will eventually be the whole pie.
That's
but
right.
Small bites, I like that.
That's right. And also with breaking it down, we think about, as far as cleaning around the house. If you devote a couple hours a week and measure it that way, you're probably going to get to your end goal. So when we think of goals, think of the acronym SMART. They should be specific, not a broad general goal. That's the S. They should be measurable, as we said. M. A, attainable. R, relevant. If it's not relevant, I mean, you can have any kind of goal, but it has to be kind of relevant to your life and to those that you love. And then T, time limited. So SMART. If you can remember that, you're probably on the right track. Okay, step 4. You got to get the buy-in from people you love. Now, if you don't, again, if you are embarking on either a new way of eating, a way of organizing your life, and the people you're living with are not adhering to that, it's going to fall flat. So
if you're on a diet and your wife comes home with 2 dozen donuts and says, hey, everybody dig in, she's not really buying into what you're trying to do.
It's like putting the temptation right in front of your face. So lots of couples or families, whole families, marriage and family therapists, of course, work with, will have a variant on the same goal. So it is a healthy eating goal. And it might look different for every individual member, but there's some things that everybody in that family or the couple agree to go without. Same thing, a lot of couples pick up habits that they want to quit. Smoking. So it's very hard to quit smoking on your own, much less if your partner is taking a smoke break very often throughout the day. So when possible, again, you want to do it for the right reasons, but you'd like to be able to have your partner kind of join in with you and get that family support. Or if you're doing something, at the very least, make sure they're going to understand, especially if it's around kind of saving money, which a lot of people will do. So if that drastically changes your lifestyle or what you do in your free time by yourself or your family, you want them to know that. Because if not, it seems like you're pulling something away or being unfair. So you really have to have the support of your loved ones. And the fifth one, and this is the one people really forget the most about, is you got to build in some rewards or incentives along the way, especially if it's a long-term goal for all 2014. So using our frame, if you have a diet, it's impossible to stay on your diet all the time. So you have to build in some, whether people call them cheat days or they go out to a meal, but something built in a reward. Same thing, if you're saving money, if you're building for this long-term goal, a major purchase, a house, a car, you can't cut out all your free time with your family or your spouse. You have to build in some type of reward. It might be less, might be more creative, but you still got to be able to do it. And also, you have to remember that at the end of the day, nothing is worth going out of balance for. And we say balance is if you have to have good physical outlets, good emotional, intellectual outlets, and interpersonal outlets. So nothing should be so goals so persistent that you don't have balance in your life and you're not having some fun on the way of getting there. And again, delaying gratification is good. We need to learn that certainly as we move throughout the years, but you got to have some incentives built in along the way so you can actually get there.
You know, Doc, I heard of a couple, and you may have heard of this with your vast experience with marriage and family therapy, is that her goal was to lose weight. She lost the weight. Her husband supported her until he found she was getting so much attention from losing the weight. And I don't know if it was a jealousy or if it was just, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for here. Do you ever have that kind of dilemma?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought that in. So what starts out is the partners are on board. Mm-hmm. When that one partner is actually succeeding, the other partner's, hey, well, you know, I didn't realize I was going to feel this way, or yes, especially if you're getting more attention or things are changing and I haven't made those same changes. So yeah, what starts out as a good thing, I'm glad you said that. You can assess along the line. It turns out, and this is what marriage and family therapists do. They're going to help families, individuals, and couples kind of set realistic goals. So it's very common, as we say on the show, that you have an idea, you want, you know, improved communication or improved intimacy in your relationship. But that's so broad. So you work with a marriage and family therapist, and they're going to turn those goals into measurable, concrete things. And in the scenario you bring up, if there is friction on the way to that, which looks like success, they're going to help you kind of navigate through that.
You know, this gives me a nice little segue to apologize. I told a joke here once, and it got back to my wife, only part of it. I said, my wife says that her New Year's resolution is to lose 200 really useless pounds. And I meant me. She was, you know, I was trying to refer to the fact she's divorced. My wife says, I heard you went on the air and said I needed to lose 200 pounds. Yeah. I said, no. You're not heavy, and she's not. Right. But anyway, it was a joke. I apologize.
Out of context.
Exactly right. With that being said, Doc, if anyone has goals or maybe little red flags from their spouse about the New Year's resolutions they're trying to achieve, how do they check out someone like you to give them expert advice and help guide them through?
Right. Every week we come on the show and represent the Kentucky Association for Marriage and Family Therapy, KAMFT. So you have two really easy ways. You can go to www.kmft.org, and there you're going to see, you can follow us on Facebook. Lots of good tips, including all the past segments from 2013 and into 2014 right here on Wave 3 Listens. And you can also go to www.therapistlocator.net. And what Therapist Locator is it's going to give you all of the licensed marriage and family therapists, LMFT for short. It's going to give you all the licensed marriage and family therapists in Kentucky, and many of them centrally located here in Wave Country. So you just put in your zip code. It's going to come up with a profile of all the different therapists. You call them, and you get them to help you get going on your New Year's resolutions.
You know, Dr. Eli, I think now is the time to do it too. New Year's, it doesn't just mean personal New Year's resolutions. It can also mean, honey, we've been talking about trying to better our relationship. Let's make a commitment. Let's see a licensed marriage and family therapist and really move towards, making our relationship all it can be to fulfill its potential. This is a good time for that.
Yeah, as we've been saying every week for the last year, people have a stigma against mental health, or it's a bad thing to go and see a marriage and family therapist. We know no. Marriage and family therapists work with the working well, promoting strength and help, moving you towards all your relationship goals.
All right, staying with the theme of New Year's resolutions. Coming up, the YMCA is here, and they have a weight loss challenge. If you're ready and if you're up to the challenge, we'll